Welcome, YouTubers, to another session. I'm Dr. Nick Pejic here at Atlas Psychiatry, straight out of New Orleans, Louisiana, where I will give you the truth about psychiatrists as I see it. Today we're going to be talking about social anxiety and introversion. So if you're wondering about those things, stay tuned. Remember, this is not medical advice, so if you have a problem, go talk to your doctor about it. Okay, so are you introverted or are you socially anxious? Introversion is when somebody gets energy. They derive their energy by being alone or in one-on-one conversations with somebody or walking around the city by themselves, looking at things, people watching, that type of thing. Sometimes introverted people will not go to parties because they've been around people too much in the day and they want to take a little time for themselves to kind of reboot, if you will. So introversion is not social anxiety, and a lot of people with introversion sometimes think that there's something wrong with them, that they don't want to go to a party, but the real reason is because they just are introverts. An extrovert, on the other hand, is somebody who gets a lot of energy by being out and about, who wants to socialize, and they like the popcorn effect of being with people and can tolerate a bit more small talk. Imagine a bar room or a restaurant with a big group of friends, or out at a party. So that's extroverts. And when extroverts are in a space where they're acting or being too introverted, they'll feel dis-ease at some point. Whereas introverts, if they're around lots of people at some times, they'll start to feel some dis-ease as well and need to get out and go be by themselves. Other than that, there are people who are ambiverts, like myself, where I kind of share both qualities. When I'm about 50-50, where I can be extroverted some of the time and introverted other times. And this poses a problem for people in general when they marry somebody who's the opposite type. You can imagine a husband that's really introverted doesn't want to go out and about, and his wife, being more extroverted, might want to go out to parties and socialize, and that can stir up some tension for people, or that can stir up some tension at work, in the workplace as well, for people. Anyways, all right, so let's talk about social anxiety. Social anxiety is an anxiety disorder that was first described in 1980 from the DSM book, one of our psychiatry's books. Currently, we're in the 5th edition of that book. And social anxiety can be debilitating. About 7% of people will have it this year, and about 12% will have it in their lifetime. So social anxiety is when folks go to a party and they feel really nervous meeting new people, and they may avoid that type of situation. They may avoid other situations too, and I'm going to pull up a form here called the Leibowitz Social Anxiety form and read off to you some of the symptoms of that. Let me just pull this up here. So this measures the amount of social anxiety might have, and it's based out of the fear of a situation and then avoidance of that situation. So using a telephone in public, participating in a small group activity, or eating in public, or drinking out and about with others, talking to somebody in authority like your physician or a professor that's teaching you, acting, performing, or speaking in front of an audience, going to a party, working while being observed or writing while being observed, calling someone you don't know very well, talking face-to-face to somebody you don't know very well, meeting strangers, urinating in a public restroom, entering a room when others are seated. I used to hate that. Being the center of attention, speaking up at a meeting, and taking a test of your ability or skill or knowledge, or even expressing disagreement or disapproval to somebody you don't know very well, looking at someone you don't know very well in the eyes, just like straight in the eyes, giving a prepared oral talk to a group, trying to make someone's acquaintance for the purpose of a romantic or sexual relationship, or returning goods to a store for a refund. If any of that sounds like you, look at the link down in the description. It's called the National Social Anxiety Center.com, where you can learn more about social anxiety and its treatment. I'll share a little story with you too. I was socially anxious about performing regarding performance, and it wasn't in the medical arena necessarily. Maybe my earlier medical days, rounding with other professors, I was pretty nervous, but I wouldn't avoid those situations per se. But for a long time, I avoided playing music out at open mic events here in New Orleans. And when I talked to one of our therapists here, I decided to set up a social anxiety hierarchy, or a fear hierarchy, I should say. So for me, what I first did was I played guitar in front of my wife in our living room a few times, or she was like in the next room and I was in one room. And then I had her watch me, and I did that. And then I went out to the levee here nearby where there's lots of people out and about, and you can kind of bring your guitar. And I used to write songs up there, so I ended up playing some music. And then with lyrics, or I added lyrics to them and kind of sang out loud, which led me to take lessons by a voice coach here named Guy Tem in New Orleans. He's a great guy, no pun intended. And after that, my real goal was just to play music in front of people, like at a bar or something, which I eventually did, and I was very anxious about it. And it was a difficult experience, but that's like a kind of exposure therapy. And each time I would do one of those things, it got easier to do them. So eventually I was hosting an open mic night just to force myself to continue doing it. And to this day, it's still difficult, but I'm able to do it. Now, there's other treatments for social anxiety other than the fear exposures, one of which is propranolol, or a beta blocker. Some of those medications can calm your physical anxiety down that comes with social anxiety, like the gastrointestinal upsetness, the tremor, voice quivering, heart rate increased, and increased respiratory rate. And then we use medications that are formerly known as antidepressants, but they're also anti-anxiety medicines like Lexapro and Zoloft and so on and so forth. Those are called SSRIs. I know there's a lot of controversy about people not trusting those type of medications, but in general, those medications can work for folks with social anxiety disorder or do psychotherapy, which I did not do, but we provide that here in our office for folks who just have severe social anxiety who want to work more on it. So I hope that helps out. If you enjoyed this video and you thought it was helpful, smash the likes and push the subscribe button, and then you can ring the little bell to get updates on our next video. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.